going on, Pinball Land? Welcome. It's episode 11 of the Flip N Out Pinball podcast. Greg Bones with me. I'm Ken Cromwell. Today, we've got a little bit of an Expo post-coverage podcast, I would say. Greg, did you have a good time at Expo?
Oh, man, an amazing time. I hadn't been for so long that it was, it was good to be back there, see everybody. It was a blast. And I was really impressed just because, I know we talked, I had not been to the new location since Expo had transferred over there, 4 years ago or so. And so I was really impressed with this new location.
It's a much larger location. Mm-hmm. It has more of a trade show type of an atmosphere, whereas the old Expo is very similar to TPF, Texas Pinball Festival, where you're in that kind of quaint ballroom with the chandeliers and the rug and the carpeting, and it's a little bit more cozy. This is just more like industry style in your face.
I kind of miss that dirty coziness, though. Like Chelsea and I were talking about that. I was like, I kind of like that. I kind of like stuff being in separate rooms, like when Stern had that one whole room and you had to venture out into the Stern room. Like I've kind of started to really like that with pinball shows. For the most part, the smaller ones, but yeah, this one right here, like the new Expo reminds me of kind of a mix between old Expo and TPF. Don't you think? Because TPF's all kind of in that one large thing. It's a very large show, and it kind of TPF is a mix, I guess, of the two.
TPF is to me, it feels different now, and maybe it's you might be kind of removed from TPF. I don't know the last time that you went there, but old Expo and TPF were very similar to me in how they presented. But now new Expo is very similar in how it feels to Southern Fried Gaming Expo. It's like the rooms look identical. It's it's that real bright white LED lighting on the concrete floor with the white walls with the dividers. I mean, that's just kind of what it is.
Well, I always kind of thought TPF was just, it did have that same vibe, but it was just so open, or it wasn't so open, it was so large. But then you kind of meandered around everywhere and found little nooks and crannies and stuff hidden.
I want you to go back to TPF, because what you're going to find, I think, in my opinion, is that TPF is a lot smaller than I remember it being.
Oh.
And I think it's because other shows have gotten larger and their venues have increased in size, whereas TPF has remained the same size. Mm-hmm. It's not nearly as large of a scale that I remember it being when I first used to go there. It still kind of has it. It lends itself to the maze effect, where you can kind of get lost in the shuffle and you're finding little areas and whatnot. But it's a different vibe. I appreciate it for that, though, because it doesn't feel like another show to me anymore. It's got its own identity at Texas Pinball Festival, which is coming in March of 2026. Flip N Out Pinball will be there with the booth. So we'll see you there.
But I kind of thought that, though, just because of seeing this new space at Expo and how big it is, I was thinking that. I was kind of like, man, I keep touting TPF to Chelsea, but I was like, if we go this year and she comes with me, I think that it might not be as extraordinary to her, because now how big this Expo is with everything in there in one room.
Yep.
But I will tell you, this is one thing that I 100% miss, and I actually heard people talk about it too, and it was my favorite thing, was old Expo's, the 24-hour
free play. Yeah,
free play.
I know.
That was dude, you'd stumble in there at 2, 3 in the morning and play, or I'm a super early riser, so I'd love to get a cup of coffee, and I would go down there, because you can't play. I can't play games. I'm just overwhelmed and everything with talking to people and everything. I can't play games when I'm at the show. So I always loved getting down there at 6 in the morning or something, maybe 1 or 2 people down there, cup of coffee, get to play some games and relax. And now it's I miss that, man. There was something so odd about that. I know, I understand getting rid of it, but
what was great also in that little 24-hour area was that was the only place in that hotel where you could actually get free water. Because they had the water jug, and you're down there at 3 in the morning, you got one eye closed, you're trying to figure out what happened with your whole night, and you're just hanging out by that little water cooler, and you're jugging 2.5 gallons of water before you go up. In between playing games that are, you never heard of before, and you probably don't remember playing in the morning, but that's
I remember my
funny.
brother. My brother's a very eccentric individual, to say the least.
Yeah.
And he found, I don't know if any of our listeners have ever really heard of this game, but it's a pinball machine called Nudgy. There's no flippers, but it's a more modern game. And when I say modern, I'm saying 80s, but I'm not saying old wood rail pinball machine, but you literally have to nudge this game, and that's how you do so he's over there on that game nudging it, but with his full thrust and everything to get that ball
right, manipulating that game.
And people watching him, oh my God, dude, like we still talk about it to this day. And it all happened in that free play.
Hey, we'll talk about Expo in the booth here in a second, but I had a lady that was on the game, and she literally had her left knee up on top of the lockdown bar, like resting on there while she was playing. She was like contorted. I've never seen anything like it before in my life, but that was kind of strange. Real quick, before we get into the show, one of the quick shout outs to new Patreon members. For those of you that are interested, you can support the show over at patreon.com/Flip N Out Pinball Podcast. We've got some fun tiers that give you some bonus extras. Wanted to welcome Marlon and Jason, who joined on the Mini Wizard tier mode. Welcome to our Patreon family.
Welcome.
And then Kevin coming in with the big Ultimate Wizard mode tier on Patreon. I got a chance to talk to Kevin over at the show, actually, at Expo this past weekend. So we want to welcome all those guys. And again, if you want to go check that out, you can go to patreon.com/Flip N Out Pinball Podcast. Also, Greg, something really cool happened with one of our Patreon members. Sent us a little care package.
Yes.
That we are going to talk about later because, in my opinion, it's such a fun, amazing story, and we're very appreciative of it. And we wanted to give it its proper due.
Yeah, dude, I've gotten a lot of stuff in pinball, and been gifted some things, and we'll get some nice accolades, which are always very much appreciated. But this one was over the top. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about that.
We had that game release. We had Winchester Mystery House from Barrels of Fun, and we were given a little bit of inside access just prior to release of that game. David Van Ness knows how passionate we are about modern day pinball and about the haunted house style theme. So I was grateful that he was able to kind of let us in, and we were able to do a little bit of an interview, right, with David Van Ness and Carl D'Angelo about the game. It lasted about an hour long. In fact, we uploaded that as a special episode of Flip N Out Pinball Podcast that if you haven't listened to it, go ahead and read back. It's a real interesting listen. We also posted the video content on Facebook. But I wanted to take a couple minutes before we got into overall Expo and just kind of talk about what your first impressions were. Because when we had done the interview, we were just looking at photographic assets, right? So that's kind of all we had. We had some of the storyline. David Van Ness was able to kind of provide us with some answers to some questions that we had during the interview and even before and after that interview. But when you went and you saw the game in person, because we had one in our booth, and that spoke volumes to me about the relationship that Flip N Out Pinball has with Barrels of Fun. And simply because they had some games in their booth, we were the only distributor that had a game in our booth, and we were very appreciative to have that over there. But when you walked up to the game, what were your first impressions? What were you thinking about it?
It honestly, the photos really resonated. I thought that it was kind of very true to life in the photos. I think that I was, a little bit taken aback about how nice that Pepper's Ghost was, because obviously photos and video just could not do the Pepper's Ghost justice. And then that powder coat, that armor, for some reason, that just did not translate into my brain in photos and video as, beautiful and as striking as what that color is in person. So, that really took me aback. But
how would you categorize that color? Because I noticed that too. It was so, it kind of reminded me of like, and maybe this isn't the right explanation of it, but kind of like the patina you would see on like the Statue of Liberty.
No, almost. You're 100% right. Like a patina on a copper or something.
Yes. It was really elegant, and it offered a nice characteristic
because it's like a seafoam, teal. I don't know what you would classify.
Okay.
But dude, you're on the money with that. Like, a tarnished patinaed copper or something. Right. Like, it's just so beautiful on there. Man, I love that back glass. Their games are just so rich looking. Like Dune is like that too. I talked to Johnny Crap. You were there, and I don't know if you had heard the conversation.
Yeah.
Which, Johnny Crap did the art and everything on Dune. And I was like, what is it about the printing process? Like, what do you guys do? Is it your art and colors that do this? Like, why? Because all of their games they've got a few. Labyrinth, not so much, but Dune was just an entirely different thing. And I think Winchester's kind of that same way. That backglass is just so vibrant and striking.
Backglass is great.
Yeah.
Backglass is great. when you walk up to the game, it feels really, I mean, or at least I kept using the term refreshing, and I don't know how else to describe it. It is a breath of fresh air. You just kind of walk up to it, and it's just very unique. It's very inviting. It draws your eye everywhere, whether it be the artwork on the playfield, the exterior cabinet artwork, the back glass, even us just talking about the armor, I think speaks volumes to just the level of detail and coolness at the game. And man, I am so raspy. I'm starting to realize now my voice, I'm still struggling voice-wise from Expo. I've been trying not to talk, but so I'm going to fight through this podcast. So I apologize if
that's what I told you. We got back. I was like, I don't think my voice could have taken another day. Like it would have been fun if the show would have ran through Sunday, but there was no way my voice was going to take another day.
Something else that I don't think the two of us were as surprised about it, because when we were and that was how fast this game sold out. Not that it sold through, meaning Barrels of Fun liquidated their inventory or sold off their inventory to distributors and that sort of thing, but literally sold out. You couldn't get the game. At one point, the game launched on Monday at 1:00 in the afternoon. And by the next morning, it was sold out. And we were talking about, and it's funny because we just had an episode about the art of the tease and what's an impactful, what's an effective tease. I mean, this was something that was different because there was really no tease hinting that a new game was coming out. The tease from Barrels of Fun was that there was an anniversary that was coming up on Monday and that they were going to introduce a new team member, like a designer, which ended up being Carl D'Angelo. But on that date, and on that time where people were kind of directed to go to the website or go to their Facebook page or Instagram page to get the information for the announcement, it was boom, Winchester Mystery House is in your face.
But it needed to be done because here's the problem. And this was a scenario that we really did not go over or that we did not think about when we recorded that podcast and we talked about that. In this case, I think they still did it right. I don't think you could have teased this game because I think the problem with teasing this game is that no one knows what this is. Even though the Winchester Mystery House is a real thing and some people are very aware of that lore and the story behind it, it's still, for the most part, an original IP to people. So, and even at that, like you allow, with a tease, you allow confusion and you allow people to create an even crazier narrative in their head about what this could possibly be, which could potentially lead to even further disappointment when that game comes out. And again, we kind of talked about that you run that with any teaser in a sense, or just any game that's coming out. But I think something that is severely unknown by, I would say 90% of the pinball community, if not more, I think just shocking them with it and showing it to them was the absolute best move rather than a teaser.
I couldn't have said it any better. And that's not really a scenario that we discussed because I think nowadays, especially with the way that information travels and people get leaks, whether they're controlled or not controlled, it's impossible to really release a game without the public having a general idea that a game is coming. Now, the games that are rumored aren't all necessarily coming out, right? But most of the rumors that are at least close to reveal dates
are slightly true.
Yeah, and there was no rumor about even Barrels of Fun coming into this date with a new game. I mean, they're only 2 years old. They have 3 games out. So, yeah, and I think you're right. Everybody was caught off guard enough to where you didn't have time to be positive or negative about the game. You only had time to react because the other kind of genius move was the amount of games that they were offering with 525. And again, the next morning, and I don't know, we were the thing that frustrated me, I went to bed that night excited that the game was out, and I'm like, I'm totally in on this game, and I can't wait to have this game. Wake up in the morning, and I'm trying to get an idea how many we have left that we can offer that day, and Zach's like, guys, game sold out.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to order my game, Greg.
No, we talked about that. How bad was that? Because when it came out, we were both like, oh, okay. Like, This is right. This is what we've been looking for. Like, this is amazing. Like, it's either going to be a hit or it's going to be a dud. But in our eyes, like, because we all three talked, we were like, oh, man, we love this.
Yes.
And we were trying to separate ourselves from how many orders do we place, because we're very excited about this, but will the community be excited about it? It was so hard, and we were all three struggling. Like, we're all three very in tune, I feel, with the market. but this is so different. Do we rely on our gut, and do we rely with how excited we are on it to base that on, you know, what our customers are going to want? And like you said, like by the time that we got done with the whirlwind of everything, because, you know, it started off very slow. You know, I think people needed time to, and when I say that, even though they sold out in less than 24 hours, it still was very slow at the first compared to other releases.
And the reason it was slow, in my opinion, nobody was going to that page to see a new game reveal. And that's, you know what I mean? Like, so people are at work, they're going through their day to day. Greg, there were people that were walking around Expo that still didn't know that game was out. And when they saw it and they asked how much it cost, and I told them it was sold, like they couldn't wrap their head around what had happened, because it was like, it was that fast. It was that fast.
Exactly. But I mean, and then that whole whirlwind, like literally the next day when we asked Zach about that, and then we both were just like, oh shit.
I was like, you got to be kidding. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, what?
I know. I cannot.
But what's the irony? Believe it. And I felt terrible because, terrible for myself mostly, because I've been waiting for this theme. And when I knew it was coming, we were both so bullish on it. And we thought it was going to do well, especially with 525 units. We were confident about it.
Yes.
For me to miss the boat, and I work for a distributor, I guess on the flip side of things, and you know, I'm spinning it in my head this way, is like, I'm happy that one of our loyal customers received the game that maybe I would have taken away from that sale inadvertently.
Yeah.
But man,
I think
now I'm nervous too, because it's like these games are already starting to trade a little bit higher than MSRP. Yeah. There were a couple deposits that were being flipped for thousands of dollars more. So, you know, I gotta hope the market settles down at some point and I can snatch one on the back end. I saw David Van Ness. He walked into the show when we were setting up on Tuesday, and, you know, more on David Van Ness later. But he's like, hey, I said, David, congratulations, man. This is like totally cool. You get to go to Expo. You know, the pressure is just on the game performing now instead of you having to sell games. And he's like, yeah, he's like, did you get your game? And you know how terrible I felt. And I was like, I didn't get it. He's like, he's like, how did you not get it?
I know.
And I said, well, I went to sleep with my intention of ordering it the next day, and it had already sold out. And he's shaking his head. He goes, you know, I can't make any more. And I said, no, of course I would never ask you to do that. But yeah, man, I'm still stunned about it.
Ken, I honestly, like, I mean, we were on the front lines and we kind of saw how that game was selling, but at the same time, I don't think any of us expected 24 hours. I thought, okay, you know, it'll sell out this week, or it'll sell out here in a couple of days. It'll sell out in a couple of days, honestly, just because of where our sales were when we went to bed. But then, yeah, like when we woke up, man, like I guess the whole West Coast woke up, and you know, we're driving those sales through the night, and then we were left out, dude. It
was like exponential. And actually, I was listening to Zach discuss this with Dennis on the Pinball Show, and it helped me understand too, because I didn't really know the specifics of the timelines. But you know, it started slow and it started gaining some momentum after a couple hours, and then by the end, it was like this exponential increase, all the way up where it spiked, and then, you know, everything was accounted for, and we had a sizable order in too. That's why, I don't know. Anyways, it is what it is. One of my pinball all-time backfires, Ken missing out on Winchester Mystery House.
Yeah. You know, I still think, I mean, there's been a lot of discussion around this everywhere. I still think that they did a great job by limiting that. You know, I'm sure that there is some mindset and some, you know, back of their mind, they're still like, gosh, man, you know, look at the money we potentially left on the table. But I think limiting like that is what helps sell those games through, to whereas if you maybe had 700 or 800, they might not have sold through, or you might not have even sold as many, sort of thing, getting greedy like that. And I also think that being a relatively new company, you know, Labyrinth was successful. I think Dune is going to be a success. You know, it's still sold a good amount, but I think being still fairly new in the business and in manufacturing, I think that it's also a smart move on their part to have a limited game like that, just because you know how many parts you need for the most part. You kind of know where you need to be. You get a little bit better idea of a manufacturing timeline on those. Like, I just think it was all around a very smart move on their part, honestly.
I think what this does too, and we noticed this in our booth because we did have a Dune pinball in the booth as well. That Winchester game put Barrels of Fun on the map for a lot of people and entice them to go play Dune, something that they might not have ordinarily kind of initiated stepping up to play. The feedback, I would say 8 out of 10 people that walked away for Dune were very, very impressed. They may have underestimated including myself. I didn't really have a lot of time on Dune. And for me, just full disclosure on that, Dune as a theme does not call to me. I don't know the movies, so it's almost like it comes across as an original theme to me. When I kind of got in there and played it, the game just presents so cinematically. The lighting so elegantly done. The sound, from what I could hear at the show, was great, and the shots were fun, and the mechs were cool. It gets a little criticism because of the brown along that playfield, but it's spot on for the theme and what they were able to do with the lighting. It actually it's great. Like, it's a game that I could see potentially owning at some point, down the road. And I think that this game gets more legs now. And we've seen this just with people that have contacted us after the show looking for Dune. I think Winchester is just a nice little gateway drug for those that didn't know or give Dune enough credit when it came out.
I don't even know if it's all that or how. I mean, I think Winchester did play a part in it, and I think it very much put, almost like free publicity in a sense of them selling those games out. So I think it definitely catapulted them in the forefront of people's minds that may have previously not heard about them. But I think that the thing with Dune is Dune has not really been presented anywhere, really, since it came out. So, and because it didn't sell a ton of machines, and because of the title and the theme itself, no one has really sought one out or really thought about it, and very few people have them in their households for people to play. So I think that this was the first time to really have a mass group of people to be able to touch that game and flip it. And I think it just took them by surprise, because again, I think that they were just looking at it as, it's Dune. Like, I don't know if I really care about Dune as a theme. But once they played it, they found out how fun that game was, and back to a lot of your points of the description of that game. I think it was you and I that were talking about it? Because you hit the nail on the head perfectly, that there's really no other way to describe that game other than it's cinematic.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not just what's on the LCD, and it's not just the clips. Like, there's something about the way that they use their lighting system and light rails on that game. It's almost like an ultra diffused game. Like, it casts this just beautiful glow.
Very warm, right?
Yes.
It's like a theatrical kind of experience. Yeah, I noticed it right away.
So, it's truly like you're playing the film. It's just got an entirely different aura around that game that's so hard to explain, that I've never seen on a pinball machine before. So, kudos to those guys, man. I think Dune is really going to start taking off. We've seen it, like you said. We've already seen it since we've been back of orders and sales and what we're looking at, and potential trades and everything else that people are hitting us up for. So, that I think that Dune is definitely going to be trending up.
Where you're not going to be able to see Winchester, by the way, is in my game room. So you're going to have to go play it at Expo or try to find it on location. Interacting with the team at Expo, the Barrels of Fun team was fun too. Obviously we ran into David Van Ness throughout the whole show. It was nice to meet Carl D'Angelo in person. I'd never met him before. We kind of were virtually introduced during the podcast interview. He's just a super nice guy. It was good seeing Brad Albright, who was on artwork for that game.
Yep.
Brad, very personable person, great rep for that company.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Dotson, sound guy. Never met Jeff before. I just had a lot of appreciation for what he had done in the game in general, because I liked the sound of the game, the audio, and it's better in person. But to kind of get the chance to meet him, his girlfriend was there, kind of getting some extra B-roll content. She was super nice. So those just cool people. Eric Prepke, who was on Code, got a chance to kind of interact with him a little bit. Never met Eric, I don't think, in person, even going back to his spooky days. Super nice guy. Did you run into Josh Clay, who does the animations? I don't recall if I did. I don't know if he was there or not. And Josh, if we spoke and I didn't properly introduce myself, I apologize. But I just wanted to take 1 second with David Van Ness in particular. There's something unique about this guy and the way that he feels, not only about his company and his product, but his employees. It's really, I love it. There's a really good feeling that I have about the company, because I know, and I don't like using the word passionate, because I just think it's overused and it's lost a lot of its effectiveness when you say he's passionate about this. Dave is emotionally attached and driven, and he's got a lot on his shoulders running a pinball company, and then the livelihood of everybody that is employed by that pinball company, and then satisfying the pinball community. And to see somebody and be able to talk to somebody that you can just tell in their eyes how proud he is about his company, his team, his product, how I'm sure how stressed he probably is because there's a lot going on, but how he's able to take time to show appreciation to each and every single person that went up to him to talk to him about, whether it be Winchester, whether it be Labyrinth, whether it be Dune. Very engaging. And I just wanted to like tip my hat to the guy, because that's somebody who you want leading a company and leading a team and bringing products and new games to the pinball industry. And, you know, where we've got close relationships with a lot of the companies or individuals at these companies, you know, I'm very thankful to know David. I consider him, you know, a friend, and I wish the world for him, because I know how hard he's trying and the effort, and I guess, for the lack of a better term, the passion that he has when it comes to
you could
pinball.
see how he was so exhausted. You could see it, but he did not let that deter him. It's like you said, he was still talking to everyone. He was still upbeat. He still had, you know, the energy. He still was answering every question with enthusiasm and everything. And I mean, you know, to sustain that through a show is not an easy thing. Shows take a lot out of you. And you know, I mean, he just kept going. The guy was like a freaking maniac.
Well, and he's part owner of the company, right? I think he co-owns, and he's the CEO of the company. But he's in there setting up the booth. He's setting up games. I like to see that. You're leading by example. Works the show the whole time. Yeah. And you know how it's very exhausting to talk to people, and not because you don't want to do it, but it takes a physical and mental toll on you when you're on a floor for 14 or 16 hours. It's just tough. And I remember when they were packing up, and it was Sunday morning, we were all packing up. It was getaway day. It was like 7 in the morning. He's down there. And I was like, how are you getting these games back? He's like, oh, I got a truck. I think he said he got like a 26-foot truck, or I don't remember how big it was. And I was like, so are you flying back? He's like, no, I got a truck. And I was like, well, who's driving the truck? He's like, I'm driving the truck. I'm like, this is amazing. This is the CEO, owner of the company. You know, he's got 8 people down there from, I think, from Barrels of Fun. And this is the guy who's literally driving the truck back to Houston with the games. I don't know. It's charming, and I love it. I think that's what you need. It's leadership like that you can appreciate. Leadership that engages with the public, engages with the distributors. That doesn't feel like they're better than anybody else, or that the distributors are the enemy of the people. Everybody's a partner. It's a big team. And he kept re-emphasizing the team concept. You know, he says, we can't do it without you. We can't do it without, you know, the pinball community. It can't do it. So it's just awesome. I'll leave it at that, because now I feel like I'm way over the top. But he got me motivated about it, man. I mean, yeah, for sure. So thank you, David Van Ness, and thank you, Barrels of Fun. Thank you guys for what you're doing, and you know, we wish you the best of luck for sure.
Agreed, man. Agreed. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, Barrels really showed out. Barrels, I think, took everybody by surprise there. You know, Stern had an amazing booth there. Stern's booth was massive, man.
Stern's booth is always massive.
Yeah, but gorgeous.
And it's so nice.
Yes. They had the couches, the stage, and everything to be able to, you know, conduct some, you know, different interviews and different stuff up there. It was amazing. And I mean, I didn't even count how many games that they brought. That was insanity. Of how many of their games that they had there. We had a couple Stern booths in our games, or in our booth there. We had a Jaws. We had a new Star Wars Fall of the Empire, which looked absolutely gorgeous. We had a King Kong Premium in there, which was fantastic.
I can't wait to talk to you about King Kong, actually.
Oh, I told you. That's what I think it's.
Yes.
I told you. It's a surprising game.
It really is. It really is.
So good.
Because a couple of those games came back here to Studio C. The Star Wars LE came back here where I'm at. And
Kong, you got that Kong,
didn't you? Oh, yeah. And King Kong Premium. And then the Golden Tee, PGA Tour, and then the Buck Hunter. And I just started playing a little bit of King Kong, because I don't like playing 2 games simultaneously. Like I need to expose myself to one. And not expose myself to one. It's like, I'm going to drop my pants to this first game.
Thank God you're not playing a JJP game. the camera.
That's right. Oh, but no, I like to play them, give them their own time. So I'll play King Kong for a couple days, and then I'll kind of go over to Star Wars for a couple days. But King Kong's freaking great. Like,
it's good.
I can't wrap my head around all the shots on it, all the different paths. If somebody said, "Hey, you need to redraw the play field," I don't think I could do it. It's just there's way too many things going on. I mean, I could,
but it's not overly complicated. Like you'll pick it up very quick of where all the shots are and what you need. It's a very extraordinary layout, but it's not overwhelming to where there are a lot of shots, but it's not like just weird hidden shots that just where every time you flip you're hitting something. It's not one of those games where it's just too easy. It's just one of the most masterful layouts I've ever seen, which is insane.
You know what I really like, and this is going to sound small, maybe insignificant. I love that you can trap up on the upper left flipper and hit those drops.
Oh, yeah.
Or feed that shot. That's pretty, because usually on an upper loop shot or whatever, you're just kind of hitting you're one timing it, right?
Hitting
if you
get it a little slow,
you could cradle it. Yeah, I dig that.
It's freaking awesome.
I dig that.
Yeah. And that's what we had. I mean, who all we had, and speaking of that game and speaking of Keith, I won't go into a lot of detail at all about this, but, we had a particular customer that doesn't have a lot of access to games and so forth at times and all that stuff. And he ended up picking up that Jaws 50th that we had there on the floor.
Yeah.
That he had bought. And,
selfishly, I was sad that sold, because that was also supposed to come back here.
I know. It's so good.
And
You were looking so forward to a Jaws.
I know.
You were looking
like,
so forward to a Jaws.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
Customer first.
I have to give like the biggest shout out to Keith Elwin and his team. Rick Nagel was there. And then Jerry Thompson came in, which big shout out to Jerry Thompson, like literally one of the greatest guys that I've ever known in pinball. I mean, truly.
Yeah,
like,
same.
So freaking nice and genuine. And honestly, like just amazing at his job.
His wife, Jennifer, is actually super fun to hang out with, too.
Freaking
like,
amazing.
The combo of Jerry and Jennifer, that's pretty awesome.
So it's so awesome. Not to get off subject here real quick, but so I know Jennifer also we ran into each other when I was in real estate. She's a realtor as well. And we ran into each other down in Texas at a conference one time and got to hang out and stuff. And it was like, when I first really got to start to know Jerry and everything. So I kind of started to know her on a professional level as well,
that's
just
cool.
in a different realm. Yeah. But then, Harrison
Hey, that's
Drake,
kind of a small world, as if we're in the Matrix a little bit there.
Oh, it really was. Yeah, creepy, dude. When I saw her, I was like, oh, holy cow.
Simulation style.
That's Jennifer.
Right.
But and then Harrison Drake came in, and I won't go into depth about what they did, but those guys, as busy as what they are at that show, especially Keith being hounded by everybody because, I mean, his celebrity status is so huge. They took time out of their day and their life and came in and just did some, really remarkably nice things, for this customer and everything. And I mean, truly just made his expo and his entire, long journey here memorable, I mean, and again, I mean, they were helping with some things, and I was just blown away, man, because I just know what those shows are like and how taxing they are. And I just add admiration for those guys and for what they did.
And it's a huge deal, because so our customer whose machine this was that they all signed, and again, super thanks for everybody. That's huge to take time, get the whole team over there and to spend some time with the person that is purchasing the game and then sign the game. But our customer was saying, this is great because I'm so excited to buy this game. I've wanted this game. But now I have this story behind this game where I purchased it from Flip N Out, because he's a big fan, especially of you and the Straight Down the Middle shows. We'll talk about Greg's celebrity status here in a second, because it was over the top.
I had it was such a warming moment, but awkward moment for me, because there, he's got the team there and he wanted to get a photo of all of them, which is, in front of his game, because I mean, like you said, this game, this customer never left that game. I don't even know how he's going to go home and even want to play that game, because he did not leave it the entire expo. But he wanted a photo.
And he bought the game like on day one.
Yeah.
And then just kind of circled it like a vulture on roadkill for the whole show.
He was like a shark circling
Yes, he
game,
was.
Dude.
That's exactly what it was. He should have had a little fin going on his head, and he just could have walked around, because that That game was like blood in the water. He was circling it the whole show. That's got to be tough, though, right? Because you that's your game, and you're just kind of babysitting it. So I get it. I
would too. 1,000,000%, dude. He wanted a picture of the team up there with him at the game, and he was like, "You get in here, Greg," and I was like, "No." And he was like, "Get in the photo too," and I'm like, "No, I didn't have anything to do with this game. I can't like make this memorable. These are all the guys. Like, it's hard to assemble this team to in one photo." So I was like, dude, he's like, "No, get in the photo now. I want you in it."
But he told me, man, he's like, "You don't understand how important it is." He's like, because he's from out of the country. He's like, "I watched Greg and Zach on Straight Down the Middle for years. And then here I am, I'm in the booth and he's here and I'm getting this game from you guys. And now I got the Stern team coming and signing it. And Greg's here hanging out." And because he was coming back to us with things that he questions and whatnot through the whole show.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't want to say his name only just because I don't know if he wants anybody to know that he bought a game, whatever it is. I'll keep the privacy there, but it was great that this was a good guy, because if you get somebody that maybe isn't the best person hanging out with you all weekend long at a booth asking about a game, it can probably drive you a little bit insane. That happens from time to time, but yeah, I mean, he's got a memory now, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome of those guys, man. And we had Zach Sharp from Stern stopped by and talked to us and hung out for a little bit. Jeremy Packer, aka Zombie Yeti, stopped by. That's always a joy.
It was good seeing Jeremy. I haven't really seen or spoken to Jeremy in quite a bit, so it was nice that he kind of stopped in and said hello, and he's just as charming and witty comically as ever.
He's the most unique individual in that aspect. And he's such a towering guy too, man. Like,
yeah, he is.
It's fun talking to him. Like you said, it's just, he's so quirky in that aspect of what comes out of his mouth that you just stand there, you're just kind of waiting for the next day.
That's exactly. You're waiting for the punchline, or you're waiting to that he's serious as a heart attack. So.
Yeah, I love talking to him. And then, like I said, before Johnny Crap came in, another artist, over there working with Dune some, talked to him for a little bit. We got to argue about some dinosaurs. We got in a heated discussion about
that was interesting,
dinosaurs.
Actually, listening to you and Johnny talk about what assets were in what movie of Jurassic Park. You had the artist versus the wizard of all-knowing Jurassic Park trivia, so that was fun.
Ken had to step in. Ken basically was like, off topic here. Let's talk about this.
The subject.
No, that was great to meet Johnny, though, dude. He was a really cool guy. Like, that was the first time I got to meet him in person. I talked to him, online a little bit, and stuff. But
where's he from? Do you know where he's from?
I do not.
Okay.
I know that him and Zombie Yeti are pretty good friends and stuff. I think Jeremy's the one that got him kind of into the business, which is great. But yeah, guy definitely has a role in the business, man. He's good. I think it's hard to find really good pinball artists. And then saw Christopher Franchi quite a bit. We'll stay on this artist role. Got to talk to Chris, but I've known Chris for years. Really long time going back to
I do like seeing Chris at the shows, especially because he's just kind of in his own thing, and he's always very generous. He always has like little giveaways.
Oh, yeah. I had a baggie that had dude, it's so cool. Like, it was just so awesome. Like, not only a t-shirt in this custom bag from his artist company, but he got like little toys and trinkets and candy, and it's just so refreshing, dude. It's like you went to the county fair. You just opened up this goodie bag.
He's celebrating right now for 2026. I think it's his 10-year anniversary in pinball, like for him becoming a pinball artist. So he's got some really cool like stickers and T-shirts and things like that. Just celebrating that, and to get a little piece of Franchi artwork is always pretty cool.
Dude, that's when I know him. Like, thinking back, like, I mean, I know that I've known him for a long time, but to think back that like I've literally known that guy for like almost 10 years it's just mind blowing to me. And so, and he's just always so jovial. Like, I mean, just with everybody, and just so happy. And so, I mean, I think he lives for those shows, man. He's a very big people person. Like, he loves people and stuff. So I think he looks so forward to these shows and being around. And I hate it because usually we'll have a drink or do something. And I was just so exhausted that Saturday night. Like, I didn't stay up very late at all. I kind of burned myself out Friday night. So I kind of hated that I didn't get to have a drink with him or, hang out with a couple other people kind of late into the night. But I was like, oh my God. I was leaving out at 6 a.m. and I was like, I got to get my ass in bed or I'm going to pay for this.
We had listeners that came into the booth to say hello, which was really, really cool. From Flip N Out Pinball Podcast, a ton of Straight Down the Middle fans.
A lot of Patreon members. Sean brought his baby.
Sean brought a baby.
Sean
his
brought
3-month-old baby.
Tried to get me to hold it.
I know.
I didn't want to be disrespectful, but I was like, Sean, I was like, I might drop your baby. I've got a lot of germs on my hands. I do not want to drop your beautiful baby.
That's right.
And she was the cutest little baby too. Amazing. But I mean, I think
did you hold the baby?
No, I didn't know. I was like,
yeah,
I cannot.
It's probably best.
Yeah,
right.
I cannot have that on me. If I drop a baby at a show, there goes my entire career. I'm done in pinball if I drop a baby at a show.
All your hard work out the door because you dropped a baby at Expo.
Exactly.
It's not good. But it was funny because awesome. We were joking that by you holding the baby, you would have like officially christened it into pinball somehow. You know what I mean? It would have kind of crossed. Blessed it. We got to get you like a pinball pope hat to wear. And we had that big kind of, that big entry gateway going in, and that was going to be the portal in which you had to present the baby through the portal, coming into the booth.
So good.
And then you would give it you make some type of offering. So the baby is christened into pinball, which is funny.
But like I said, dude, I mean, there's so many people that listen to this show, so many people that just have known us that, you know, we haven't met before. Like that to me, and I know a lot of other people will say this too, that is to me what the pinball shows are about. Like that's what I am there for. It's just meeting everyone, having the conversations. I played one game of pinball. I played one pinball machine. That one pinball machine that I played was Star Wars, Fall of the Empire. It was the only game I played. I didn't have time to do anything else.
You didn't get a game on Winchester?
No, I didn't even get a game on Winchester, man. Like,
wow,
the lines were too long, and I didn't.
Yeah, that is so wild.
Yeah, I know. So, like, I can't, like, I mean, I can tell people that are asking about it the feedback that I heard, but, like, I mean, I hate that I didn't.
I played only one game of it because you couldn't do anything. No. Even you'd get into the booth early to try to get it set up, and there's just already a line. So I'm not going to turn this on.
Well, I told you when we were going to go down and set up. I was like, hey, I'm going to go down, and you know, I was going to get everything turned on for you. I was going to go down early and put a game on it, so I'd finally get a thing. And then I got tied up on the phone because, you know, obviously we're still working and stuff when we're there, just side stuff too. Right. So I got caught up on the phone, didn't make it down there until actual opening, and by that time, I was like, I missed it. I missed it.
Yeah,
again. I missed it again. But yeah, I mean, dude, I mean, it was one of the best shows that I'd been to, honestly.
Well, and we went out a little bit on Friday night, and we had a little cigar excursion. We were with, that was so crazy. That was interesting. We were with, Charlie from Seattle Pinball Museum for a little bit. Alex Manning, who does the promotional videos for Jersey Jack Pinball. Yes. Steve Ritchie ended up, making an appearance out there for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that was
all the same night.
That was the same night. We were back out for round 2, though, with Steve.
Round 2, yeah. So the first cigar was with Charlie and Alex, myself, and then Peter Dorn from Jersey Jack Pinball, who's a great guy and a friend of mine.
Peter. Dude, that guy is so diverse, and not to cut you off on going into the rest of the night, but like Peter is just a wealth of information, and listening to that guy from his days, because Peter comes from Midway back in the day. So like listening to Peter, and I'm sure you've heard most of them or heard a lot of them, but I mean, there was just such crazy great stories about the inner workings of pinball and Midway when they were doing games with Arctic Thunder and Hydro Thunder, or was it Arctic Thunder as well? I guess it was. And then Hydro Thunder and a lot of the most popular games. Like, it was just so awesome. And then he just knows so much about the history of everything. You know, we were talking about Yalsey and some pinball artists and different things, and he was just going into all of these details about them. And I was just like, dude, I could sit here all night and listen to you. Like, I love talking to that guy.
Yeah, he does a great job at JJP too. He's got a very stressful job, and he's been in the industry for a long time. So the industry is a better place, especially Jersey Jack Pinball, with Peter there, in my opinion. But then the round 2 was later that night, hanging out with Steve Ritchie came by for a cigar as well. So we were double dipping on cigars.
Sort of a cigar, Ken. Steve was not there for a cigar, but you were like peer pressure in high school. It's like, hey, take this.
It's like I was trying to give him drugs or something. It's like, hey, try this, man.
Yeah, he's like, okay. And he's like, no more. I don't need any more.
He's like, no, I don't want any more.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have one more.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah, take it. Steve is known for having good times at shows, so I didn't feel guilty offering him
you were like, how was that, Steve? And he was like, it's damn good.
Yes, I know. And you know what's funny is, like, there's so many stories, and I think that down the road in future episodes, stuff will come up and we'll have recollection and we'll bring it up. But overall, really fun expo.
Great.
Long hours. I wanted to thank Zach and Nicole Meny especially for just making that presence possible. Zach did a lot of work behind the scenes. In fact, getting like everything that we had in the booth, from the games to the structures, all that was Zach kind of ordering in his creative process. And then at that point, it was just setting up. I wanted to thank Tim from Flip N Out Pinball, who was really instrumental in helping set up that
He's
booth.
a workhorse.
Tuesday morning. He's a beast.
That guy's
He's
crazy.
a beast.
Yep.
And you know what? A little known fact, Greg, little Flip N Out booth there. We did win the runner-up for best booth at Pinball Expo.
Yes,
so congratulations to you. I really want to thank you.
Nope, that was you. That was you guys.
You know what? We got it all set up, and I was happy to share that information with Tim. But for you coming in there and just helping, pull the load there for those days was huge, because going into it, I didn't think it'd be an issue just trying to do it myself. I could never have done it myself, man. Like you were exactly what was needed in that booth from just a personal perspective with talking to the customers. So many people came in and were excited that you were going to be there, because you've been known to really not have motivation to get to shows for whatever reason. I don't know what that is. So when people heard that you were going to be there, first of all, they didn't believe me, because they were coming in on Thursday asking where you were at. And I was like, oh, he's going to be here Friday night. He's going to be here Saturday night. And no, he never comes to shows. Man, the influx of people that came in to say hello to you and to repeat your coined phrase of "let's kick this shit" was very, very impressive. So thank you for your help.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate it.
And your
that.
wife, Chelsea, was like amazing. I love Chelsea. Like, I had met her before at shows and we had hung out a little bit here or there, but to have extended time with her and just to see how enthusiastic she is about pinball, how supportive she is of you, and even Flipping Out Pinball, how outgoing she is, how type A she is, and how easy she is to just talk to and hang out and have fun. I can see why you guys are such a compatible couple for sure.
Oh, yeah. She's very similar to me. The only thing you had wrong in that is her love for pinball. She'd care less about pinball.
She had me fooled, because she looked like she was in a pretty good mood there.
She loves conversing, and she loves some good Chardonnay. So that's what a show does for her.
The combo.
Yeah.
The best pinball combo, conversing and Chardonnay.
Yeah.
It was great seeing your brother too, man. Your brother's he's just a riot. Like, he's life of the party.
He's an acquired
whenever I've hung
taste.
out with him.
That's all I can say. I had to I had to reprimand him and get on him a little bit, because he gets a little too out of control.
Well, I mean, if you're going to get out of control, pinball show's probably not the worst place.
I know. I had to explain it. I was like, hey, listen, normally I'm fine, but I am actually kind of working here. It's not straight down the middle days where the kind of everything goes. Like, I have to uphold, some responsibility and respect at this show this time. So I was like, I just got to have you wrangle it in just a little bit.
Well, well, hey, I didn't notice anything too crazy, so for what it's worth. But again, Nicole and Zach, thanks for all the support.
Yes.
Thanks for letting us get out there and do that. And
Agreed.
We obviously could not have done it without you.
Oh,
so.
you did it too, dude. Like, I mean, I was thinking that same thing. I was like, dude, if I would have been stuck here alone, there's no way it could. I mean, at times I think that we felt we were barely pulling it off. It's two people.
It's true that we could have had 3-4 people in that booth probably. Yeah. And everybody would have had something.
But hell, even
on.
Chelsea was chipping in. Like, we were outside having our cigars when we got away, and I get a phone call and it's her.
Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna be like, hey, where are you guys? She's like, hey, what do I do about this buck hunter? We're trying to coin this thing up.
That's right.
Like,
that's right.
People need plays on it. What do I need to do? And then she's shouting orders to somebody else that's down in the
somehow
machine.
she had somebody else like taking orders from her on how to coin up buck hunter. It was amazing. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, we weren't gone that long, but you had to step away for a little bit. But that was fun. It was a good show. Still recovering from it, just a little bit sore. Still not getting the best night's sleep, but it's all worth it in the end. So
agreed.
And thanks to everybody that came to the booth to hang out. Thanks to everybody that bought games. We sold a lot of games down there too, which was really, really cool. And I think the next show that we'll be at with the booth will be Texas Pinball Festival, which I think is the second week in March. So if you're looking to say hello to myself, are you going to TPF? Have you made that decision yet?
I've not made that decision, because it's kind of like what Zach was saying on the podcast.
Spring break or something, right? For the kids?
Fall break or spring break for us. Yeah. Like, fall break didn't fall this time like it did for his kids, getting away to get to Expo. But TPF usually falls where our kids' fall break is, or our spring break is. But we typically don't do anything on spring break. It's just us getting away and trusting our kids alone, or finding someone and check in on them. I mean, because they're old enough, but it's still, how it is as a parent. Like, you still get worried leaving your kids.
Oh, yeah.
So, because I'm sure Chelsea will want to go, because she had such a good time. And She hasn't been.
I hope you guys do, because it'll be like a little reunion we have going out there.
Well, and in between that, we won't be there as per se as a booth or having Flipping Out there in that aspect, but we possibly may be all at, or some of us down at Pinball at the Beach in February. So that's a nice little possibility. I think we're ironing that out as well.
That'll be nice to be at a show without working a show. I can't remember the last time I've been in that position. Back Jersey Jack days, 5 years of just working shows. And then, my first show with Flipping Out, working the show. Yeah. I would love to just kind of walk a show and chill out and not have the obligation. But yeah, I mean, that's Pinball Expo 2026 in a nutshell. Again, we've got some other stories I'm sure will come up over future episodes.
We rambled for an hour, and you're exactly right. That was Pinball Expo in a nutshell, because there was so much more. Even though we talked for an hour, we could spend 8 hours talking just about that weekend.
and trust me, there are people that are even top of mind right now that we spoke to that I would like to shout out, but it's just it's so impossible to do it. I mean, we've talked to thousands of people. It just kind of is what it is. But Sean got the special mention because he brought a 3-month-old into his show. I don't know how he convinced his wife to let that happen. Good job, Sean.
I think she was out shopping. I think he snuck away.
That's what she was at Target or something, right?
Yeah.
Greg, we're going to get ready to wrap this episode up, but in the beginning of the episode, we kind of teased that we had received a gift from one of our Patreon members and somebody who listens to the show, and it impacted us in a really positive way, something different that we had never really experienced before. And this is from Patreon member Tony V. I'm going to read his letter really quick, and I'm going to omit some information because I just don't know how personal he wants us to be, or as far as like where he works and that sort of thing. So this is kind of a little bit of a revised version, but this was the letter that we received from Tony V. And he says, I wanted to take a moment to express my appreciation and gratitude for everything you do for the pinball hobby and the incredible community that surrounds it. I first discovered the world of pinball back in 2017 when I came across a few TNT amusement videos. That quickly led me down the YouTube rabbit holes to Straight Down the Middle with Zach and Greg, and from there I found myself listening to Zach and Dennis podcasts. Naturally, that opened the door to even more great shows like Special When Lit, Triple Drain with Joel, and now the latest and greatest, the Flip N Out Pinball podcast with Ken and Greg. You can see why I like this letter, Greg, right? He goes on to say, your content has provided me with much needed escape from the day-to-day demands of my job. And as the senior enlisted leader of a large battalion of soldiers and civilians charged with training, preparing the next generation of cyber and electromagnetic warfare soldiers, the mission is constant and the responsibility is heavy. But your passion, humor, and dedication to the hobby offer a sense of balance and joy that I truly look forward to. So to show my appreciation, I wanted to present each of you, Greg, Ken, and Zach, with our battalion's challenge coin. In my organization, the coin represents excellence and recognition for those who go above and beyond the call of duty. And in your own way, each of you does this exactly that for this community. You bring people together, share your love for the game, and keep the spirit of pinball alive and thriving. Thank you for the countless hours you invest in creating content and for the positive energy you bring to so many of us. What you do may not make you rich, but it enriches lives. And for that, you have my utmost respect and gratitude. With appreciation and admiration, Tony V. P.S. Have a few cigars on me. And Tony V. sent each one of us a challenge coin from his battalion. They're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
With his permission, I'd like to take a picture, but probably post it to let people see what it is. And he sent us cigars, Greg.
Yeah, I love cigars. They were so awesome. That's what Zach sent us that picture, and it showed. I was like, oh,
yeah, I know. It's like,
dude, it's just that great letter. I mean, it's always good to hear, kind words. We do get those. We get a lot of good feedback from customers and from fans and people. But he just went above and beyond. Like, that letter was so meaningful and so deep. It was just so warming to hear that.
And, for those that don't really know, a challenge coin, from what I understand, it's kind of a big deal, like a big deal in the military, or at least that's where it kind of started. And it's like a small custom coin that represents a specific unit or organization, and it's usually given as a sign of respect or recognition. So to get something like that from Tony is pretty huge.
It is.
Especially considering, so he leads an entire battalion of soldiers, and he sends us one of our one of his coins. Like, I just want to say thanks, Tony. And look, the guy is a big supporter. He's always kind of been appreciative of the content. He's on Patreon. I don't know. He's above and beyond. So at some point, we got to make challenge coins, and we got to issue like our first one back to Tony in a nice trade. But you're supposed to pass them off palm to palm, like in a handshake type of a situation. So it's a little bit of sleight of hand, I think, because I've seen this happen in political arenas and where you got two leaders kind of meet, and there's that weird handshake with the. Unless that's like Illuminati stuff, but I'm pretty sure that's like that's like changing the challenge coins. So that's really cool. But Tony, man, amazing. And we will definitely smoke those cigars, hopefully sooner than later, and we will smoke to you. So yeah, thanks, man. Thank you so much. All right, man. So look, this is episode 11. Congratulations on 10 episodes, by the way, plus the bonus episode of Winchester. So technically this is our 12th episode, but we'll label it as 11. So, I'm having a great time doing the podcast with you, man. I think a lot of the feedback that we got at the show is that it feels very natural, as if we like each other. Guess what? We do. We've been buddies for a while. So it's real easy to podcast with you, brother. And I do appreciate it. I think I ask the listeners this every single episode, and I'm going to ask it one more time. Actually, I'm going to ask it every single episode. If you get a chance, go to Facebook, right? Go to the Flip N Out Pinball podcast page. Follow us there. I think we're around 700 followers, which isn't bad at all for a couple months of having the page up. I would really love to get to 1,000. If we can get to 1,000, I think we can kind of do something kind of special to celebrate that. So if you're kind of surfing the internets and you happen to stop by that Facebook page, if you can throw us a follow on there, that would be great. And our YouTube channel is growing, Greg. Flip N Out Pinball Podcast. We've got the video version of the interview we did with Carl D'Angelo and David Van Ness. And the plan for us, I think, because actually we get a lot of interaction and we got a lot of listens to just an audio podcast with just a logo on a screen on YouTube. We get like over 1,000 of those, which is not bad at all. But I think we're going to start offering some more video content, or the option to watch some of the podcasts or the occasional podcasts via video, and we can make it a little bit more interactive. So if you get a chance, follow the Facebook or the YouTube page. And then we've been talking Patreon up because it's just a fun place for you to go support the show in a different way. So patreon.com/Flip N Out Pinball Podcast.
Always
check us out over there.
And if you guys are looking for any new in-box games, skip on over to flipnoutpinball.com. We've got tons of accessories. King Kong accessories just dropped. There's a topper, art blades. What else was there? Side armor on there. Couple
for King Kong. Yep.
Couple good accessories for King Kong that just dropped. We got a boatload of other accessories over there. Escalera is on there. If you guys are looking for a hand truck, get those games up and down steps. All of that is there. If doesn't really fit in your budget, looking for a couple of used games, head on over to our Facebook at Flip N Out Pinball and check out all of our used inventory that we have over there. That inventory goes quick. So, make sure you jump on it. And, if there's a game on there that you don't see that you're looking for, keep checking back, because that inventory is always revolving and new stuff's coming in typically, daily, weekly on there. But it also goes out as fast. So, jump on it if you can. Don't hesitate. Write Ken or I, get a shipping quote on those used games. As before, with any of our new Sterns, all those new Sterns are free shipping. So, take advantage of that. And
that's a huge deal, man. Like, you're saving anywhere between probably $400 and $700.
Oh, it really
on a
is.
New Stern. Yeah. With us just kind of taking on that shipping for you.
Yeah.
So
depending on where it goes.
Huge.
Yeah. Especially if you're West Coast, that's a huge savings.
Oh yeah. If you go to that West Coast.
Yeah.
And then one little, not insider trading tip. I just, based on a lot of the feedback we got at the show, get your orders in if you're considering that Jaws 50th anniversary, because there's one more run in December and you want to be on that spot. After that, I believe it goes away. Secondly, if Dune's on your radar, now's probably not a bad time to consider that. Feedback coming off of Dune at the show was impressive. Exactly. And we've seen a significant uptick in orders on Dune.
If you're interested in, we've started taking that interested list for Spooky's next game, the rumored, yet to fully be confirmed Beetlejuice. So, if you're interested in that at all, get on our list just to see if we can secure you a spot and what we can do for you. But definitely at least get on that list so you don't miss out if at all possible.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a unique alternative to pinball to kind of round out that game room, highly recommend Golden TPGA units. The new season is out 2026 if you're looking to get in on that. And then secondly, the Big Buck Hunter Reloaded machines are amazing. I am going to start sharing some content on that with my personal experience with these. They complement a game room so well. Not everybody necessarily will gravitate to a pinball machine when you're having a party or whatnot, just because they can't wrap their head around what's happening or the rules. Anybody can hit a trackball to play Golden Tee, and anybody can pick up a gun and shoot a can or a buck. So we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Both were highly popular at the show too, man. That was nice to see. People were all over those as well.
Yeah, we were selling those units, you know, and it's just bringing them up and putting it on people's radars. So again, if you're looking for something fresh, that's not
especially
a bad
for
thing,
your kids. Kids love Big Buck Hunter.
Yeah, the kids are on it all the time.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, we appreciate everybody listening to episode number 11 of Flip N Out Pinball Podcast. For Greg Bone, I am Ken Cromwell. Don't forget to take some time out of your day and play some pinball. So long, everybody.